Is neurodivergence actually a superpower? Or has social media overly simplified what people really experience? And welcome to Hidden in Plain Sight, the podcast about the parts of ourselves people don't always see: the overthinking, the growth, the burnout, the healing, the humor, and the everyday experiences that make us human. I'm Extrovergent, and I can be found on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Extrovergent. Today, we're talking about neurodivergence, ADHD, and autism, and whether calling it a superpower actually helps people feel understood or unintentionally misunderstood. Joining me today is AuthentiGirl, a neurodevelopmental consultant and assessor based out of London with over 25 years of experience supporting individuals with autism and ADHD. She's also a woman diagnosed with AuDHD, which is both ADHD and autism, bringing both professional and lived experiences in today's conversation. So, whether you're here to laugh, learn, reflect, or feel a little less alone, I'm glad you're here. So, let's get into it. Because I think this conversation matters because neurodivergence is often framed online as a superpower, but honestly, it's not just online. I hear people talk about this in real life. I've heard people comment about how ADHD is a superpower when I'm having conversations with people, or autism is a superpower, which is why we say neurodivergence is a superpower. But I think for many people, the reality is that it's more nuanced than that. So I want to start here. When people call neurodivergence a superpower, what is your honest reaction to that?
So, if I were to have subtitles running for every conversation that I had with somebody about neurodivergence and superpowers, they would really say something like, it's not that bad, this bad thing you have that I don't know much about, but I feel uncomfortable talking about because the only things I do know are the things in newspapers that are generalized stigmas. And so I'm going to make you feel a bit better because I just can't deal with this uncomfortable conversation. I don't really believe it because that's what the media is saying. And so I'll just say, oh, it's a superpower. It's all good. And in that one fell swoop, they've basically invalidated everything that I might have started if I were newly diagnosed to begin to believe about myself instead of feeling a failure, and started to validate the huge efforts that I was making to accommodate and appear that I was managing just fine. Because I'm going off on a tangent here, bit of a long answer, but we all have very
ADHD
spiky
moment.
ADHD. Like, watch the tangents. If you can follow, you might just be ADHD too. But we all have spiky profiles. That means if we were to have our abilities sort of on a line graph, some things we're really good at, which kind of taps into the superpowers and the strengths. And some things are really, there's a great discrepancy between the strengths and things we find challenging. So in an IQ test, for example, it might be verbal reasoning, visual perception is significantly superior for a lot of autistic, not all autistic people. And then there are other things that might be real challenges. And I think that most of the people I know who are neurodivergent, and I happen to know quite a lot, I have a disproportionate experience of the people I know happen to mostly be neurodivergent because of my clients and family, friends, and you realize your tribe are all around you. But most of us are very much tuned into the things we find difficult. So not the superpower bits or the strengths, but those bits that we struggle with, that we try really hard to not conceal, but put in effortful strategies to overcome, which exhaust us and which we feel badly about ourselves. So I haven't answered the question at all, have I really?
I remember one time we were talking on the phone and you were just like, it makes you feel like you want to vomit. Why did you say that?
Yes. Why do I want to vomit when I hear the word superpower? I think that it's a massive invalidation of the enormous efforts that we go to, particularly when you have AuDHD. So it's like a tug of war. One side is struggling to kind of hone in that attention, and the other side needs that focus and structure. That's just one example. It really invalidates because you end up seeing very little on the outside until burnout or another impact on physical, mental health or functioning in the workplace or at school. And it kind of buys into that, really. It's also a bit of a social soother. It's like, don't worry, it's okay because you're very talented, really. It's kind of an avoidance of actually exploring what that means for the person sharing that information. I just think that's invalidating.
For me, it's one of those things. I feel that people, when they say it, they mean well because they look at, wow, he's really smart right there. I think it's a superpower. And they think if you focused on that thing all night and got it done and you completed a task that nobody else was able to do. And they go, it's a superpower. But when they do that, I don't think they really understand the struggles and the things that we go through. Because just because I can focus today does not mean that I'm going to focus tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I can't always decide what I'm going to focus on.
Yes.
And it's just like, okay, I might be focusing on a task today, but then the next day I might focus on drama or TV or a new hobby that I picked up. And then on top of that, there is a lot of, at least for me, and I'm pretty sure some of you can relate, when you want to do something and you can't, that there is guilt and shame and everything
Mm,
that kind of comes with it when you can't get it done. And sometimes it can be quite debilitating. And I
yeah.
feel like a superpower without support can feel very debilitating. You get where I'm coming
hmm
from?
I do. Makes me think of Elvance, which is the ADHD meds I take. I was really anti meds for a very long time until I saw that they were positively helping other people and decided to be brave and open minded. And so with Elvance, I can focus on one thing, but it is not the thing I need to be focusing on most of the time. I mean, about superpowers, there are things that I do really well. I think in my map, someone talks to me about something and I already almost see without reading words
Yes.
everything that relates to that thing. That's phenomenal. Not many people do that, but it's all at once. Then I have to articulate it in a way and like barge everyone else out of the way because I will forget it. It's like it will disappear from the board.
Right.
Right. So there are superpowers, but they come with challenges. But I think the whole notion of superpower is just a softener so that when people are diagnosed, because the DSM 5, ultimately, you're not diagnosed on strengths. You're diagnosed, and there are real strengths, which I'd love to talk to you about any second now. But I think that the diagnostics process is very negative. The
Really?
deficits are, yeah, don't you think? Because you're asked about the things you're struggling with. So it really focuses on these things that are common struggles, 100%, and they do impact day to day life.
I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, the
Okay.
DSM 5. So the diagnostic manual. So whichever tool, whichever assessment measure the psychiatrist or other professional uses to diagnose, they have a lot of questions. Do you remember?
Yeah,
Autism's
especially
ADHD
for like
ones?
the ADHD to where, and I am not a mental health professional. I'm just speaking from personal experience. Yeah, I remember if you, I know it goes beyond this, but it just starts off as far as do you meet certain things within a category and do you have so many different characteristics or symptoms within that category?
Yeah. And they're all deficits. They're all things that, well,
I mean,
to one
isn't
degree or
deficit in a
another.
name attention deficit?
Yeah. And actually, we don't have a deficit in attention. We have too much of it. We pay attention to everything.
But you know,
We
it's
have a
interesting too.
filtering out deficit.
It's just like I can pay attention. There's times where I can process things at superhuman speeds and see
Exactly.
everything that's going on
Yeah.
at one time. And then
And
there's
laugh
other
first.
situations
Mhm.
where it's like totally the opposite and I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
paying attention. I don't see anything. So it's like for me, it's just either one extreme to where it's just like I'm super good at it and I feel like I'm superhuman. And there's other things where I feel like I'm barely functioning.
But I wonder whether that barely functioning is your brain going, I've just been focusing on everything and it's exhausting. And we need to have moments of just, it's like putting our brain
I
in
think
neutral
that is
gear.
fair because a lot of the time there's a lot of stuff that I want to get done and I want to do all of it. And I'm thinking, like, okay, I have task A, B, C, D,
You're
E, F,
scrolling.
G. And then it's one of those things to where it's like, am I physically capable to actually do it? Because sometimes it's really hard. And then if I
Yeah.
get burnt out, I don't know about you, but for me,
Hmm.
a burnout, and don't get me wrong, everybody experiences burnout, but I feel like when it comes to neurodivergent people, the intensity and magnitude of that is a lot greater and the frequency. And for me, it's one of those things to where it kind of feels like a depression without a reason to be depressed.
Mm, mm,
The
yeah.
feeling, the physical sensations for me are practically the same,
Yep.
but the trigger is a lot different.
I think a long time ago, I had, we call it glandular fever. You call it in America mono. Yeah.
Like mononucleosis?
Yes, I think, yeah,
Okay, if I'm
yeah,
saying that
glandular
right.
fever. And I remember feeling really down because my energy was so low. And I
Wait, you
can
mean like
get,
you're talking about the kissing disease?
yes, it wasn't
Okay,
through
okay, we're on the same.
kissing,
Okay.
unexciting. But yeah, I had the thing without a fun reason. But I noticed there was a complete correlation between my energy being really low. I had it really badly as an adult. I think I was like
Mm,
29 years old.
mhm.
And my mood. And I think burnout, very similarly, when I'm in burnout, I just haven't got the energy to lift myself. And actually, what I like about my ADHD is well, I'm a people person. I'm a bit of a Labrador. And I have a lot of energy. I'm quite positive. Not everybody who's ADHD will have these particular characteristics, but
It's
I
different for
don't
everyone,
have them when I
yes.
go into burnout. I just don't. It just, everything's zapped. But I was going to say, actually, we were talking about ADHD is the deficit. I think it's a deficit in the ability to regulate our attention. And also, I was going to say that what you reminded me of when you were talking before is we're a bit like computers with lots of tabs open. If I showed you how many, I can't even count them on my computer now. But
Well, yeah, get all the
yeah,
tabs are open. One
all the
has the
tabs.
music playing. The other
Yeah.
one is
We're thinking
just
about
like
all the
it's
things.
frozen, and it's just
When,
so many.
yeah.
It's like, and you don't know where it's coming from.
All
Absolutely.
of the things, it's all going on. And some of them are not finished because we want to go back and we want to deep dive, especially if we're autistic as well. But then sometimes does your computer ever just scroll? And you can't do anything because you can press it, you can want it to work, you can be up for moving forward, but it just scrolls because it needs a moment because you have too many tabs open and you've been pushing that computer too hard. That's my brain sometimes. What about you?
Yes, and I know exactly where you're coming from because it's just like, cannot compute, error,
Yeah.
error. What do I do? And
Yeah.
usually that's where when I had like the worst burnout that I experienced, it was one of those days where I was kind of like masking. Because when you talk
Mhm.
about there's different environments that you can be in. And for me, as an extroverted person, I, really like to talk and so forth, but I get the job done. And it was an experience to where there was a work situation where I was on a team, but we were going to another office. And the person there had a different way of thinking to where they wanted everybody to just work, 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 no conversation, no nothing. And that's how they ran it. And then I would get the work done and I would just have casual conversation with people while I'm doing it. And they're just
Nice.
like, well, if they need to work, well, you're distracting them. If you keep this up, then I'm going to have to report that back. And it's just like, what? But that's how he runs the stuff. You'll see where I'm going with this. And so at that point, I said, you know what? I masked hardcore. It was one of those things to where I said, if it has nothing to do with work, don't talk to me. We went out to lunch or whatever, didn't talk to anybody. And it didn't help that it was raining. There wasn't any connection. So my dopamine was like depleting drastically. And
Yeah.
I burnt out to the point to where I got overstimulated. The sound was too loud. Everything was getting on my nerves. And the
Yeah.
only thing that I can do in that moment was absolutely nothing. Sometimes you
Mhm.
think you need to be doing some, oh, you need to get, no, I couldn't do anything. I just had to do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the self care. So
Yeah.
My superpower in certain situations is, oh, he's a great speaker, he's a great
Mm.
communicator. But when you have other settings where you have certain things like that, then it's totally different. But what made that so interesting, the fact that if anybody who knows me knows I'm very outgoing, very goofy, and the funny thing about it is because I wasn't talking, they go, "Oh, we're scared of him now." Well, what the hell do you want? Because we don't know what he's gonna do. I'm literally giving you what you're asking for, and now you're scared because I'm not talking? What do you want?
Such an expectation, isn't it? You have to
Right.
perform on the conveyor belt and be yourself as you've usually presented for such a long time. I think the thing is, well, I've just like written down my things so that I could listen to you at the same time. It's one of my strategies. Because you said a couple of things. You used the phrase get on my nerves. Everything was getting on my nerves.
Yes.
Neurodivergent individuals, children, adults, adolescents, we have a more sensitive nervous system. And when we're under stress because the environment isn't recognizing, or in fact, we are not recognizing and allowing ourselves to communicate or respond to our needs because maybe we're alexithymic as well and we don't notice the physical sensations because of interoceptive difficulties. But when that support isn't there, whether it's from others or taking it ourselves and doing what we need to do, we can go into a nervous system response, which is the scrolling. And we can also go into a flight response or a fight response or fawn or flop. And that looks like serious face. Sometimes it can be hard to think of the jokes we usually would tell and perform in
Right.
that way because actually we are scrolling. We're out of our comfort zone. We haven't got the support because somewhere along the line, we've become disconnected from the environment or from ourselves, or probably both, in terms of how to keep plugged in terms of our reserves. But
So environment changes
um,
functioning, is that what you're saying?
oh, it's definitely both. And I think we are not used to being in touch with ourselves and who we are because we're so used to being who we think we need to be because that feels safe. Because we're often in environments, I think you talked about it at the beginning when you introed, we're often in environments that don't really fit. I always get it the wrong way around. Is it round peg in a square peg in a round hole? I think neurodivergent people are not square or round. We're stars and crescents and all of these different shapes. You stick us in a hole. If it doesn't work, the corners get shaved off. We're so used to having our corners shaved off, whether it's not just rejection sensitivity, but very real rejection a lot of the time,
Well,
that
yeah,
we
and mhm.
hypervigilant to our environment. Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's a way of kinda, like, protecting ourselves too, because,
Yeah.
like, I feel like a trait can be useful in one environment and disabling in another one, and, talking about the experience that I had, that was just masking for a couple of days. Can you imagine what it's like for people who mask for years? So what do you think
Yes, I
happens to
can.
people when they okay, so let's talk about that. What happens when a person masks for years?
Well, I mean, haven't you been? Haven't I been? All late discovered people probably have been doing that. We may come to a point where we experience a physical, mental health, or other crisis or period of time where we can't function as we had been. I've known, for example, I met on holiday a couple of years ago a GP who'd been working and then she had a nervous breakdown. And it was through her nervous breakdown that she received a diagnosis ultimately of autism because
Wow.
she'd been working so hard at, I think she was AuDHD, at performing and managing because she could with all of this effort and all these strategies she's developed. But there comes a point where you just can't sustain it because usually it's something in the environment. It could be within our family system or workplace or an additional physical symptom or the loss of a loved one. And actually, the elastic band snaps. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about, you mentioned before about people just expect it of you all the time. And I
Yes.
think it's really hard for people who are not neurodivergent, who don't experience what we're talking about is really an internal profile or presentation, to understand, well, you could do it yesterday. You could go and do a presentation, or you could work until 7 or 12 or 2 in the morning for me, but then not another day, whether it's go to a party or whatever, because we don't always have the same reserves.
Right. In a
Yeah.
totality of the circumstances, I believe there's certain things that get ignored when you only focus on the strengths. So we've talked
Mhm.
about some of the struggles that we have. And when you only focus on the strengths, it's kind of like I get where they're coming from. Some people feel empowered by the term, and others feel unseen by it. But
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing.
Do you know, I'll give you an example. I was speaking to a friend about parties. Do you like going to parties or not really?
Depends on my mood that day.
Exactly. And your reserves. If you've been having to kind of put lots of strategies into other things, you might not have the reserves to put the strategies that other people don't even realize you're putting in place that day. I like parties generally, not big noisy ones, but just where there are people I know. And they thought I was just really confident. And I guess I am. I'm like a total Labrador. But there was a moment when the people to my right were talking to each other, people to the left were talking to each
Mhm.
other, people opposite, and I wanted to disappear. It triggered my RSDs up. I wanted out. And I didn't. I sat through it. So uncomfortable. Do you know those moments?
Yes.
And and before I go, even though I'm looking forward to it, I will make myself late so that I can just think about being late because it's not easy when you've got the autism stuff and the ADHD Labrador stuff. There's a lot going on under the radar. And that is what's annoying about the strengths thing. And also, the strengths is an interesting one. Do you know about monotropism?
Yes. For
Yes.
somebody who doesn't know what monotropism is, another that's funny. Can you explain what you feel it is in human
Yeah.
terms and not clinical terms?
Yeah. And I might get it wrong, but broadly speaking, ADHD people can hyperfocus. And my understanding personally and professionally, just from my clients I have, but also from myself, and everybody's different. So I'll speak for myself and what my clients have talked about with theirs as well, is that ADHDers who are not autistic as well can hyperfocus, can kind of go into a zone, and it's almost like exhilarating and calming at the same time because it's a dopamine hit and doing something they're really interested in or has a sense of urgency. Maybe there's a time limit, they have to get it done, or is novel and interesting. That stuff.
Are you talking about
Monotropism.
NCUP?
What?
NCUP.
What's that?
Not to throw you off. That's what you're
Oh,
describing
like,
right there.
yeah, yeah.
Something being important doesn't motivate an
Yes.
ADHD brain. Typically, it's interest, novelty, urgency, challenge, and
Yes.
passion.
Yes. Not badges and stickers and cookies. Yeah. Unless you collect them. But monotropism is slightly different. So for me, monotropism is more related to my autism. For me, it's something that I would do that is a sustained interest. It can vary, but I go deep diving in it. And it's literally like scuba diving for me, which I love as well, and snorkeling or free diving,
Mm.
where everything else disappears. The sensory disappears. And I go into this peaceful state of that's the zone. It's not really a dopamine hyper focus. It's more of a kind of interest based escape, but with a purpose because I happen to love my work and my monotropic flow will usually be engaged when I am doing research and deep diving into evidence based research. Geek alert rather.
Burp,
Yeah,
burp.
yeah. So yeah, everyone's got their thing. I mean, that I think is a strength or a superpower because we can become really good at what we deep dive into because we deep dive quite a lot. It's what we do to relax sometimes. And I wanted to talk to you about some research that I found. Can I? Because it's related.
Yes.
Tangent. Ready?
Here we go. I'm
Here we
ready.
go.
Meow.
So it was 2022 that I found this. Story time, everyone. The strengths and abilities. Oh, I love chats with you.
My blanket
This
at.
you get comfy,
There
get
we go.
comfy.
I have my
Do you
blanket.
need a
Okay.
drink?
Okay, I have my
Go
drink
to the
right
loo
here.
quickly, children. I started off as a primary school teacher. Quickly sit down, arms crossed, legs crossed. Off we
Crisscross
go.
applesauce.
If you have ADHD, get your fidget now. You can stand if you want to. Stimming's all good. Ready?
Let's
Okay,
go.
let's
Okay.
go. 2022 research. The strengths and I'm reading it from my iPad. Strengths and abilities of autistic people in the workplace. So the reason I'm pointing out this piece of research is that, well, I'll tell you the intro. very few autistic people are employed. I think it was 14% or 16%. Isn't that a shocker? And I used to think
Wow.
that's because it was people who didn't necessarily have the skill sets, or maybe people who found it difficult to articulate themselves verbally, or all different things. What a load of rubbish. Burnout, I think, and whistleblowing, and all kinds of things that are quite commonly associated with autistic people are likely to be involved there. It's important that autistic people's strengths are identified and valued to help them find jobs they enjoy and make good use of their skills. So this was a study designed to investigate what strengths autistic people have in the workplace. And it was really wonderfully self-reported. So they actually listened rather than objectively looked and observed and then made a wrong guess by double empathy, by, mismatching what they assumed to be true just from an observation. And that happens both ways. We do that of neurotypicals, they do that of us. Anyway, going now into the questionnaire that they used, which was fascinating. So there was this questionnaire and they came up with, it's in the supplementary material, and it's called Table 1. Maybe you can put that in your doodah when you've done the podcast. Trying to find my words. Right, here it is.
What is a doodah?
A doodah is what I say when I can't think of the word and can't be faffed.
Is that a you
Everything's like
thing,
a
or is that
doodah.
like a
No,
thing in the
sometimes I
UK
say,
that I don't?
I don't know, like sometimes I say thingamajig. Do you ever say thingamajig?
Wait, what is it called again? A who?
A thingamajig. Or
Thingamajig.
for short, just a thingy. It's that
Not
thingy.
thing, a thingamajig. Thingamajig. Yeah,
Thingamajig.
thingamajig. I just thought it was funny the way that you said it. That's why I asked you to repeat it. Thank you for the
Ah,
dopamine boost.
that's okay. Slight like humor diversion.
I also like the
Ready?
way you said rubbish, but go ahead.
Trash. Ready? Okay.
Ready? Let's
These
go.
are the themes for autistic strengths. So we're focusing on the autistic strengths now. So I think this is really interesting because some of my clients, and I definitely for myself recognize, but some of my clients definitely recognize some of these strengths for themselves. We're not talking superpowers now. We're not actually invalidating the enormous efforts and exhausting efforts that come at real cost. We're talking about genuine strengths that autistic people have voluntarily shared as true for themselves and that apply not to all of us, but to many. And I think there are underlying vulnerabilities attached to many of these, but let's go with the first one. Cognitive
Let's go.
advantages. The first one is excellent attention to detail. Ha ha, if you have ADHD as well. I will pay excellent attention to things that I'm particularly interested in or are really
Yes, it has
important.
to be interesting. But then there's sometimes like it could be something as simple as an article or a text message. Just like, no, we're not doing that. Not right now.
And
And
I
then,
am the big avoider. About you? Are you avoiding as well of certain things that you get
yeah,
scared of?
well, yeah, the thing is, not necessarily that I'm scared. It's just a matter of doing it. So, like, I will
Mm.
avoid something for 1, 2 months, days, years, literally. And then it's just like, oh, that only took me like 2, 3,
I
4,
know
5,
it's so
6
annoying,
minutes.
right?
Really?
It's so annoying. But if I have a friend who I feel safe and comfortable with, and they're in the room and they can be doing what the hell they like as long as their screen's not pointed towards me, I don't know why that bothers me. It just really annoys me. I don't want them to check in on me. I don't even want them to, like, I'd hate it if they said, so what are you doing? Tell me. I would hate it. But if they're just there, I can be co-regulating. So basically it's like co-regulating is my nervous system is calm just because they're
Hmm.
there. It's a bit like hotspotting, using
Ladies
someone's
and
personal
gentlemen,
hotspot.
that is what we call a form of body doubling. You ever realize that
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
go to like a cafe and people are there and you might
yeah.
actually want to get stuff done?
Yep.
Sometimes, if you want to fold the laundry, somebody can just sit there with you. You can FaceTime somebody, or think about like when you go to the gym, just having a
They could
partner
just
with
be
you.
there.
They can just be there and that might motivate you. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, so there's motivation and there's accountability
Motivation,
partners.
vation. Uh-huh.
We need a little song track, don't we? A
That
little
that
bit of a
actually, that
lyric.
is a song by Kelly
Go on
Rowland.
then. I'll give you a
In your
moment. Go on.
motivation, vation. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, where's that from?
Motivation. That's the
Got
song.
a
That's the
bit
name
of
of the song.
Hamilton melody in there though.
Alexander Hamilton. Oh, this is like the most ADHD shit.
I love it.
That's what y'all
Careful
signed up
though, we're
for.
going to
This is
go
what
off
you
track
get.
into musicals more generally in a minute. I'm big into musicals, but
I didn't
I
know that. Now we really have to talk, but
that
when
we
we're
really
over
have
this.
to
But go ahead, go
talk.
ahead. I don't want to throw you
And
off.
Rent is coming back to London. Woo! Anyway, if you're keeping up with this, by the way, yes, you definitely have ADHD. But what I was saying, what was I saying? Do either of us remember?
I have
No.
the same thing as you. You think I can help you out with that?
So if you don't have ADHD, you'll know it because you'll be thinking, oh my God, what is she talking about? Why are they talking about musicals now? Okay, so excellent
Oh yeah,
attention to
body
detail.
doubling.
Body doubling, yeah. There's body doubling that's more about accountability partners. You can cut that bit
Mm,
out anyway, can't you?
no. Yes, I
No.
can. But am I going to? I don't know. I think it keeps it
Decide
authentic.
later. Yes. Yes. My namesake. Cha-ching.
AuthentiGirl. Ah.
So, there's not attention to detail. Oh, come on. Take a moment, scrolling. It's just too fun, isn't it? Just chatting, isn't it? It's just too fun.
I mean,
Anyway,
that's
that's
what
my
we're
excuse.
doing.
That's what we're doing. I've had a whole day already. So, body doubling when it's. So, accountability partners. Come on, help me out here. Help me out.
Come on, brain. You
Effort,
got this.
effort.
Come on.
Got it, got it.
Come on, brain. There
So
we go. Go.
there are accountability partners when what I say to you, right, at 3:00, I'm going to go on my Peloton, which I don't have at the moment, and I'm going to do that. And you're like, okay, now you're not going to berate me or check in on me, but I've said it. So I've made myself accountable. It's different when you're body doubling to co-regulate. Co-regulate is where your nervous system feels calmer because there is someone present. Now, for some people, and in the past for me, I've used things like FocusMate online or a friend being
Mm-hmm.
online or even them being on the phone, but we both on mute or chatting to each other if that's not going to disturb me. If I can do something like fold up my clothes or something completely boring. Body doubling is different. It's calming my nervous system. That's what I mean by hot spotting. If that
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi or my phone's Wi-Fi is a calm nervous system and the other person is feeling a little bit dysregulated, a little bit anxious, I can, if I'm pretty well regulated or I'm a particularly safe person for them, they feel safe around me and accepted, validated, and not hypervigilant and on stilts around me, then that can transfer across to them. It's particularly true of neurodivergent people. So that's an interesting one. Anyway, I don't actually know how it connects to excellent attention to detail, but there you go. Another one. Are you ready? Autistic
I'm
people.
ready.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Of-
I'm ready. Go
often
ahead.
often have superior pattern recognition. So
Oh, I got
pattern
that.
spotting and logic allowing. You got that?
Oh, my pattern recognition game is strong.
What do you spot then?
It's interesting because I find patterns in everything. I'm trying to think of an example because I find like recognition, like in people, if as far as like if behaviors change, I might not
Yeah.
necessarily understand the emotion behind what's going on, but I'll understand that their pattern is a little bit different.
Yeah, you notice when
Also,
it's off.
and also too, when it comes to patterns and so forth. I remember I was working a job where they gave us a PIN number for a card, and it was only 4 digits, and I could not remember what that PIN is. Now, if you want me to ask you about the history of taps, I can probably tell it to you verbatim, word for word, at a Martin Luther King speech. I have a dream. I can tell you the whole thing. But damn it, this 4-digit PIN, I couldn't do it. But what made me remember it was the pattern. It's like, ah.
Oh, so the
So,
visual.
right.
Do you have a
Also,
visual
too,
memory?
yeah, you can say that.
When you think of
Or
things, do you remember what it looks like? Or when
yeah,
you see something, you're like, something's changed about that. It
or
didn't
like when
used
I go
to.
or when I go to the casino, it's just like,
Uh,
or I'm playing a game or something. I'm just like,
uh.
okay, I'm gonna walk away because the pattern is about to change or whatever, and that kind of like works out for me. I'm not a big gambler, but I see the pattern sometimes.
That's cool. Next one, logical and systematic. Now, this is a bit hilarious because I have that going on, definitely, and massively ADHD. So that is a massive tug of war. What about you with being logical and systematic side by side with the ADHD? This is why people see neither of these things
Mm,
because There's a tug of war going on.
I am unpredictably predictable,
Love that.
unsystematically systematic.
Yeah. Consistently inconsistent.
Yes, if you know, you know.
I know.
Like, I have systems, like, for instance, to where, if I have to put something in a certain spot, like, let's just say I'm taking a probiotic, I will put it a certain way to let me know that I need to take it, and when I'm done,
Yeah.
I will flip it upside down.
Yeah.
Also, what I'll do is I'll put my keys and my wallet in certain pockets a certain way, and if it's not that way, I freak out like, "Oh my god, I think I lost it, where did it go?" And even the way I, take out the trash, when I go outside and I have the bin, I take it and I put it on the line, and that way, I know they came. Even when it comes to food or whatever, I have a tendency to, if I'm actually been in the container because I will like square things off, and then it'll be in like a certain pattern there too, and you're just like, well, he's been in
Yeah.
here, but
But
it's
hang on.
interesting.
Hang on. Come
Uh-huh.
at it a different way with the systematic and the logical.
Okay.
When I had a job and I was in charge of the needs of lots and lots of people
Hmm.
and lots of information and making sure that their needs were understood and met. And I had to color code everything. And then I had to work out, well, this person has a laptop and that person has this. And I had to color code.
Hmm.
I had to have a way
Yes.
to systemize that information. That's kind of what it means. Do you
Are you
do that?
Yes, anything like that too, for like there's papers in my office right now which I'm in, and there's certain documents which are on green paper,
Yes. Here
certain
we go.
documents are
Yay.
on yellow
Mm-hmm.
paper, and then when I highlight certain things, check
Mm-hmm.
this out. I have the different color highlighters, and what it says, no crisis is allowed this week. My schedule is
Oh,
already full.
I love that. Next one. We're not talking superpowers. We're talking about strengths, very real strengths. Let's see if you relate. Sustained and intense focus. So this takes us back to hyperfocus meets monotropism or both. What do you say? How does that, do you relate to that?
Can you say that one more time?
Yes. Sustained and intense focus. So whether it's monotropism, hyperfocus, or a bit of both,
Stain or intent. Yes, because there are times to where
you get in the
I
zone.
will get in the zone and I'll get into something and it won't hit me till nighttime. And I will stay up 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock
Oh,
in the
that's a whole
morning.
nother thing. Like, what on earth happens to our circadian
Get in the
rhythms?
zone.
Did you get more like late with your hyperfocus and monotropism with COVID happening? Because my whole time thing shifted. And I think it was because there were people around all the time. Like we were all at home all the time. And
It
I
didn't
just
really have an
need
effect on
that
me.
own time, really. Okay. Next one, creativity and innovation. Well, that
Ooh,
speaks
and
to
thinking
you.
outside the box too.
Go on.
And thinking outside the
Oh,
box.
yes, yes.
Because, you can be creative, not just like being artistic or good with music.
Yeah,
You can be creative in your thought pattern, the way that you think about things.
absolutely.
Other perspectives.
Yeah, I will. Also, there is a comedian. It's going to really bug me. Um, I'm going to look it up. There's a comedian. She's Australian, and there's a video of her
Oh, you're
talking
talking
about
about the one with
outside
the
the
no, I don't know who you're
box.
talking about. I'm just trolling you
Who were
right
you
now.
thinking about?
Nobody, I'm just trolling you right
You're
now.
winding me up.
I'm
Oh,
winding you up. Thank you for the dopamine.
right. You're welcome. It is called. You see, I can't let it go. You see, this is another thing. Australian comedian.
Dun-dun.
Mm-mm.
Here she
The
goes.
box
Ain't looking for the
video.
comedian.
It
The
is
box
hilarious.
video. Ha ha.
Yes, Hannah Gadsby. G
Oh, Hannah Gatsby.
G.
She's the one with the I don't know.
Do you not know? Oh, this is so
I need to go look.
hilarious.
I need to go look at her now.
Oh, it's so funny. I'm going to send it to you so you don't have to do anything. Just sit and be your beautiful self. It
Oh,
is
thank you.
hilarious. So you have to watch that now. Very funny. So yeah, if anyone wants to pause, just go and watch that. Just make sure you come back. Next,
Hannah Gatsby.
superior
Okay.
memory. Superior memory for sure. I remember things very clearly in all detail. I have a visual memory of things that happened that other people would have just like not remembered. unless they are autistic too.
It's interesting because it's hard for me to remember things
I'm
when I
talking about
have
long
to
term,
remember
I should
them.
have said.
Oh, yes.
Long term memory, not necessarily short term, unless I've strategized around it, which I do. Long term
Like,
memory
I
from
could
very long ago.
it's interesting too. I was in, was it high school or elementary school? And I remember like the history of taps that I actually had to do. I'm not in 1862 during the Civil War, Captain Robert Ellicker, and I remember word for word the whole thing. Or
How old were
I
you?
say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. And I can go on, probably
I
like
love it.
14. And it's just like, but ask me what I did yesterday or ask me the comment that you just said. I'm like, can you say that again,
Yeah.
please?
Long term memory, you do. Do
Absolutely.
you remember things from childhood as well? And like your family go, that didn't happen. And they go, oh, yeah, it did. How did
I
you
don't know if
remember
they say
that?
that didn't happen, but I do remember somebody. You still remember that? Why do you still remember that?
Yeah. And it'll be like irrelevant stuff as well.
Okay.
Next one,
Uh, ir-
enhanced productivity.
mhm.
This taps into, no pun intended, the fact
Right.
that some people expect us to be able to perform at that level all the time. But I'm really fast when something's automatic as well. It has to be automatic. But I can do all things at once. I'm really fast, really effective and efficient. And many things I'm much slower at
Yes.
in terms of the time it takes to process because I'm incorporating everything in the freaking mind map of what it relates to and a bit of a perfectionist. So, yeah, enhanced productivity really means quicker or more productive at tasks on a conveyor belt, like things that are automatic. I'm like, yeah, they have to be automatic. Organizational skills are hilarious. ADHD
Huh.
as well.
Huh.
I think this was for people who are not just autistic, but autistic and not ADHD. I'm going to skip that one. Organizational skills for yourself?
Mm, I
Mm.
am organized and it's and unorganized at the same time.
Yes, that's the tug of war. But do you put a lot of strategies in to maintain and create organizational structures? Do you literally have
Yes.
to think for yourself, right, I'm going to put that there because then that, like, if I have to remember something to go out for the day, I will put it in my
Absolutely.
shoe. And if my shoe is too small for it to go into, I will put the the shoe into the thing. And those will be the shoes that I'm going to wear tomorrow because then I can't forget the thing because I need to find my shoes to put them on.
It's
And
like
I'll
what I
put it by
told
the
you
door.
earlier with my, vitamins. So, yeah, certain things
Oh yeah,
have a
yeah.
place. And
Yeah.
also too, just because things are organized doesn't mean it has to be neat. I also believed in organized chaos.
Organized chaos. I knew you were going to say it. I love it. And
Yes.
with a visual memory, like you know where everything is.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
too, 'cause if you ask me where my phone is, and it'd be like, I don't know. And it'd be like, "Hey, do you have a paperclip?" "Yes, go downstairs, go to my office.
And you can see it
Go to the
all.
back. There is going to be
The
a
third
drawer.
drawer down.
Open the drawer. There's a pile of
Behind
paper.
the
In
envelopes.
there, there's going to be some envelopes, some cards, a
Pink pen.
pliers, a pink pen. And now, if you move that out the way, there is some sticky pads. And then under the sticky pads, there will be a paperclip on the left side."
Yeah, you're my person. That's it. Exactly. Exactly. Right. Next one.
And
Personal
you better not move
qualities.
it either, because I
Oh,
won't
this
know
is
where it is.
I know, you will know because you've got the pattern recognition. For me, it's visual perception. I'll
Mm,
notice. Ready? Next one.
ready.
This is a huge one. Probably should be the very first one. Strong sense of social justice and fairness.
Don't even get me started on the Justin
Exactly. This is a
sensitivity.
real.
Ugh,
This underlines the whole whistleblowing being common that's
but
been
that's not
shown in
fair.
research.
It's not fair.
That's not fair, but like it's not necessarily for our own justice. We're advocates for others who
Liberty and justice
are,
for all.
well, just like if we've experienced being a minority for different reasons, and there's the intersectionality, of course, of being of a different skin color or culture or religion. But when you also are different on a
I'm different. Yes, I'm
neurodevelopmental level,
different. I'm
individual.
different. Yes, I keep doing it because you were wiggling your shoulder.
Special and different? No. When you feel isolated, you don't feel you fit in and belong. You're getting it wrong. You're feeling excluded. All of that stuff. I think that ties into developing us. And also, you see things the way they are and the way they're meant to be, not because we have an idealist thing, but because that's the law or those are the regulations and that's what those people need or that kind of stuff. It ties in, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I do want to get you started on that. Talk to me
Because it
about
makes me think,
justice
is there,
sensitivity.
well, I don't want to talk about just insensitivity. I want to talk about the part that you mentioned about the pressure to fit stereotypes. I don't remember the exact words that you said a moment ago, ADHD moment, but it made me think about the pressure to fit a stereotype.
Well, I was talking to a friend this morning. I think that people who are not autistic, they feel a sense of connection and belonging by finding that they have things in common. And those can be very superficial and they don't have to be true. And I'm not stereotyping all neurotypical people. Apologies if
The
you feel
neurotypicals.
stereotyped.
If you see my page, you
Those
know where I'm coming
muggles
from
over
with that.
there.
Anytime I talk
But
about neurotypicals, I always say the neurotypicals.
well, I say muggles, but you know muggles from
But
Harry
we love you
Potter.
though.
Mm. But anyway, back on, head back in what I was talking about, trying to find it. What was it? Turn the page.
But
They
the pressure to
connect
fit. Go
through
ahead.
finding something in common, just
Hmm.
agreeing with each other, and they don't always believe what they're saying. Like, oh yeah, I like that car. Oh yeah, I like going there on holiday. But autistic people tend to feel that sense of connection and belonging and safety by being
Yeah.
authentic and enjoy being different, or well, not enjoy being different, but enjoy learning about what other people do or don't like, or without judgment, without the need for it to be the same to feel safety. And so,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
for
it's
myself,
completely
sometimes
different.
I'm too authentic, and it's one of those things. Either you love it or you hate it,
Are you Marmite?
because I don't. Wait, where
Marmite
am
is
I?
like
What is that?
Vegemite. You know, Vegemite is like an Australian spread on toast. It's like salty, like the
No,
opposite of Nutella, but it's brown, but it's like salty. Anyway, we have something called
I would not eat
Marmite.
that.
Well, you either love it or you hate it. That's the point.
Okay, yeah, the authenticness. Either you love it or you hate it. Being an
Yeah,
extrovert
you're
or
Marmite.
introvert, people love it or they hate it.
I'll
When
tell
I
you who
think,
loves it.
who loves it?
Other autistic people, neurodivergent people. We
I
tend to understand it,
Because
get it, no judgment.
I feel like we have a tendency to say what we're feeling, to say how it is, and there's no hidden meanings. It's just like, don't
Yeah.
hear what I didn't say. I'm telling you exactly what it is. And I don't know if it has to do like in different cultures where you're not supposed to call out different behaviors or different things that somebody's doing. I guess when I think you're growing up with the younger folks and the elders, by speaking up, that can be disrespectful, but it's just like, no, it's real. Or a lot of times you can be in a workplace and nobody will say anything and they go, oh, that's such and such being such and such, or they'll be quiet. Not me. I am
No.
being authentic. Is
Are
but
you like, the emperor's in the nude, guys? Has anyone noticed? Do you
even
know
in my
that fairy
profession,
tale?
no, I need
No,
to
that didn't
get out
land.
more.
You're too American. Go on.
Hey, I'm too American. I
Tell you the
forgot.
story. I'll tell you this. No, I'm sorry. I threw you off. Sorry.
Sorry.
So, The Emperor's New Clothes is a fairy tale. I think it's Robert Louis Stevenson, long time ago. You know, Ugly Duckling and all of that. I
I
think it
do
was him
know
who wrote
that.
it. It may be him, it may be someone completely different. I don't remember that. But there's an emperor and he has a lot of pride and he wants to be the most important, the cleverest. He wants everyone to think he's the best sliced bread. And two tradesmen, they're merchants, clothes makers, they want to take full advantage of him by coming and telling him that they've got very expensive thread, the most expensive in the land. And if he is clever, he'll be able to see it. And of course, there is no thread. And he ends up parading down the street outside beyond his palace in the nude. And all the people have been told that he's coming out with the most expensive suit, but you'll only be able to see it if you're really clever. And everyone pretends, ooh, but
Mhm.
really, everything's on show because he's in the nude. They've conned him. And this little boy shouts out, but the emperor's in the nude. I feel like that is me all the time. I put my hand up in a meeting and we just say how it actually is rather than just
And
blending
people be
into
like,
the
"Shh, you're not
conformist.
supposed to talk about that. We don't,
Yeah, I was like,
you let him."
oh, yeah, because
Oh,
it's,
I remember what
they
I
would
was gonna
find it
say.
scary. Go
I
on.
tell people in my profession, I go, I will always be nice. I will always be professional and authentic. If you're looking for the person that's going to tell you what you want to hear, don't hire me.
Yeah,
I'm going to get results, but I'll also have
that
your
is a
best interest
strength.
in mind. And I just straight
Yeah.
up tell them that. And if I'm not your person, then you should probably hang up the phone now. Or I even ask them, is it okay if I keep it real with you? That's what I do with the neurotypicals. I
I
feel
love
like I
that.
shouldn't have to ask, is it okay if I can be real? Because now at that point, I now ask for permission to be real with you, and you said it
Mm,
was okay. So now I start up, is it okay if I keep it real with you? And I go from there.
hmm I think that's good. I think it's helpful to know where someone's at, but also you have an authentic connection then. And you can also explore whether that, it's a journey, isn't it? It's not just a gateway to just bleh,
That, but
bleh.
with all that being said, as we wrap up, if
Mm,
someone is listening and they are feeling broken, misunderstood, or
mm.
exhausted, what would you want them to hear?
I don't know. I'm on a high at the moment because I've just finished training in something called emotion focused therapy, EFT. And for a long time, I've worked in the area of diagnostic signposting. So meeting people and through asking questions, conversation style, and knowing, I'm trained to assess autism and ADHD now, as well as dyslexia, and knowing the diagnostic criteria, gently exploring aspects of their potential neurodivergence to help them to identify where their strengths and needs are and what they might want to move forward to another professional, perhaps, to explore with them about getting needs met. But what I had not managed to experience is what can I do to actually support people? And we were talking about nervous systems at the beginning of this chat. And so I've just done some training in something called EFT, emotion focused therapy. And we were speaking before we started tonight. That is something to explore for sure. That's helpful. And also the way this is not about personal responsibility in terms of whether we are, as you said, scrolling because we're in burnout or exhausted or too many tabs open or simply can't sustain the level of effort necessary to automatically mask during the day, which is what we need to do when we are star shaped going in a square or round peg. And to understand our nervous systems in terms of it's automatic what happens when our capability to sustain these efforts go beyond our physical mental capacity to do so. I've just talked like quite a lot about something that's a bit too complicated for me to understand, but maybe it's because I is tired now. My
Understandable.
brain is asleep. Did it make sense?
No.
Ish. No, that's okay. So basically, I would like people to understand that when you meet neurokin, when you meet other people who are neurodivergent, doesn't mean that they have the same experiences or internal profiles or presentations, but people who get it to the extent that there isn't the judgment, that they're holding your space and your ability to be authentic without feeling threatened or having an expectation that you perform as you did on that particular day, like a conveyor belt. When you meet your people, you will experience a sense of belonging and safety that is like no other. And that there are supports out there that you can learn, like EFT, that can help you regulate your nervous system and begin to notice how you feel and to support yourself as well when we go through this neurotypical world that we are born in. But yeah, that is what I'd like to let people know.
Thank you. I feel if somebody is feeling broken or misunderstood, I want you to know that your people are out there and you aren't alone. And if you don't have people, then you can always join my Discord. I have a community
Yay.
there too. It's called the ADHD Brain Crew, and you don't necessarily have to have ADHD to be a part of it. And if you're having tough times, just know that tough times don't last, but tough people do. And when you're in the eye of the storm, sometimes it's hard to see that the storm will pass. Trust me, I've been there before. When things are all over the place, it feels like you might be stuck there forever. But I really appreciate this conversation because I think it highlights something important, that neurodivergence isn't one size fits all. For some people, certain traits can absolutely feel empowering. For others, some traits can feel exhausting, isolating, or overwhelming. And for many people, it's both. I think the biggest takeaway is that understanding, support, self awareness, and compassion matters a lot more than labels or buzzwords. So if you're listening and you've ever felt misunderstood, burnt out, different, or people only see part of who you are, hopefully this conversation reminded you that you're not alone. And AuthentiGirl, thank you for being here and sharing both your professional insight and lived experience. I really appreciate this conversation. And to everybody that's listening, thank you for spending time with us. Remember to give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. This is Hidden in Plain Sight. And remember to love yourself for just the way that you are. Have a good day, friend.